Hi Mom, today we're taking you to Rhuddlan Castle in North Wales. We've been there a lot, many times since 2012 to 2021 with lots of family members.
Rhuddlan Castle. King Edward built it after he subdued Rhuddlan in 1277. It's huge.
My mom loves Wales and we've taken her there a lot, but she can't go anymore, so now we're bringing Wales to her. So before we go to the big castle, we're going a little ways upriver to where the earlier castle was built at a place called Rhuddlan.
And Rhuddlan was a classic Motte and Bailey castle, as you can see from the picture, with a tower on the top of the motte and then a large flat bailey below it.
Here are some local hoodlums. This was our first visit in 2012. They were kicking a soccer ball over the motte, which was kind of funny.
We went to visit the castle.
This probably would have been part of the bailey, large bailey. There's your mom climbing the motte.
I'm standing on the motte of the first castle at Rhuddlan, built by Robert of Rhuddlan after the Norman conquest of Wales, sometime after 1066. He himself built this castle on top of the palace of Griffith ap Llywelyn, who was the king of Gwynedd prior to the Norman conquest.
And the sign at the gate said it was wood first and then later a stone
Yeah, it turned to a stone tower. And by Norman conquest, then I meant William the Conqueror when he came.
I'm standing on top of the old Rhuddlan castle called Rhuddlan. There's a school and a caravan park.
See the hills in the background there.
And all of us, there's the river down there. This is the same river, the Clwyd, that flows by the big castle, which is just to the north of us here.
And then it undermined the walls. And so there's like one of the towers in the castle is like this.
Hey everybody!
The Google Shepherd.
All right, thank you. Okay, I gotta do brain. Yep, I'm doing brain. Hold on.
It's the Google Shepherd.
The Google?
You know, like the self-driving cars?
This castle is featured in The Uninvited Guest, where Gareth comes here on a quest to solve his mystery and is imprisoned with Cadwaladr ap Griffith, King Owain's brother. Rhuddlan was a typical Motte and Bailey castle. Here I am helping my mother-in-law down the hill. Hold on to me.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, I don't know if this is the best spot. Let's come over there this way. There would have been stairs here back in the day, and a giant palisade, and the outer bailey, which was stretching probably all the way to that fence, if not farther, where the horses and the men lived.
So it was a short walk. Obviously, we're going back to the large castle here. But most of the time when we come in, we drive across the river and through a little narrow neighborhood, these little lanes, up to the castle. And this one time we were going with my nephew in the car, and I had trouble getting around this corner.
There's nobody coming.
Okay, Garmin, save video.
Oh, someone's in trouble. Somebody's walking home.
Rhuddlan first appears in recorded history in the last years of the 8th century. It probably owed its origin to the presence of the lowest fording place on the River Clwyd, a position that marked it out as a key point in the border struggles between Wales and England. In 796, the year in which King Offa of Mercia died, the English won a battle at Rhuddlan and obtained control of the area. Rhuddlan appears again in 1063 when the Prince of Gwynedd, Griffith ap Llywelyn, was driven from his base here by Earl Harold and his palace burned. 3 years later, Harold himself lost the decisive battle at Hastings, and in command of William I, a new earth and timber castle of the Motte and Bailey type was thrown up at Rhuddlan in 1073 by Robert of Rhuddlan.
That was working for William the Conqueror, in case that wasn't clear.
The tower behind me is part of the curtain wall here at Rhuddlan Castle. It was part of the design so that the castle could be refortified from the river. This is the dock that allowed Rhuddlan to be supplied from the river and from the sea, which is 2 miles away. It's an amazing feat of engineering, and the river, in fact, still follows this course that Edward forced it into 700 years ago.
In fairness, from these satellite images, you can kind of see that there are old channels of the river. So probably all that they had to do was reactivate an old channel, an old meander that ran along this side of the floodplain. But still, pretty amazing to set it up and have it still following that route.
Dug it out by hand.
Yeah.
There are notices dating from the 13th century that indicated that the river was undercutting the bank of this whole curtain wall and this tower.
Yeah, so obviously, probably high water events, this still floods pretty frequently, I would guess.
As an indication of the investment that Edward put into the building of this castle, it is estimated that he paid 1,800 men to be ditchers to dig out this moat in the years that he was building this castle from 1277 to 1284. How many more men would have been needed to straighten this river, the River Clwyd, 2 miles down to the sea? It's not recorded how many men he paid, but the river is straight. You're looking at a moat. Went all the way around the castle. So what you're looking at are arrow slits, every 14 feet apparently, sloping down, accompanied by higher ones to give full range of coverage into the moat.
This is one of the first castles we ever visited, I think.
It is.
I thought it was really huge, but not like Carnarvon.
No. Well, compared to the Welsh castles, it is huge.
So this was a dry moat, in fact, which is why the arrow slits shot down into it, in case the enemy came over the wall into the moat. And then these walls were built up much higher to protect the inner part of the castle. The towers at Rhuddlan Castle show the transition from square tower to round, in large part because cannonballs can't knock a corner off them. They are a better defensive tower, as well that there are no corners, so it's easier for there's no corners for an archer to shoot around.
It's easier to take out the archers, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that an archer, or in this case a crossbowman, would be shooting out, and he didn't have to, his vision wasn't blocked by a corner.
They did a good job making it untouchable.
I think the term is it's been Swiss cheese.
They put in these nice stairs to provide access up in the towers and then even up on the wall. Oops.
Pay attention, Mama.
It's okay, Mom, you survived that. There's Dad. There's your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can see where the floor joists would have been in this tower.
The walls of Rhuddlan Castle were lined with buildings, and you can see the joist holes very well in this wall. When David burned this castle in 1282 to start the Second Welsh War, he burned the interior, obviously not the stone, but he shot fire arrows in here, and that is what damaged Rhuddlan. Llywelyn ap Griffith surrendered to Edward in 1277 in the old castle, which is just to the south of us. Edward then immediately tore it down and built this. So between 1277 and 1282, he constructed this castle. It was one of the first that his big castle builder, James St. George, built for him. By the time, in my After Kilmary books, Llywelyn defeats Edward, this castle is finished and brand new.
That's kind of how it would have looked if you don't get seasick looking at it.
Building all these castles, starting in 1277, was hugely expensive. And Rhuddlan is only one of a dozen of the Iron Ring of castles that Edward built after the Welsh Rebellion. In a related note, though initially it doesn't seem like it, also in 1277, Edward executed 600 Jewish merchants for coin clipping. And amazingly enough, the amount that he took from them, from their estates after their deaths, was exactly the same amount that the war cost him.
Just coincidentally.
Yeah, coincident. So convenient.
But Cromwell just did a job on this castle, didn't he?
That's what Crew was talking about.
Rhuddlan Castle. In the After Kilmary series, it is to hear that Meg and Aaron come after they're shipwrecked, and Meg is finally reunited with Llywelyn. This is also the castle from which Marty, Anna, and Meg fall off one of these towers in Ashes of Time. This is the tower where Marty fell and went kersplat. Thanks, Guru. Obviously, this is Rhuddlan. The castle's in ruins, predominantly from the Civil War in the mid-17th century.
Cromwell broke it.
What did he do?
He Swiss cheesed it because he wanted to make it untenable as a defensive position for the royals.
That's right, who had garrisoned it and defended it against him.
So, Mom, I hope you've enjoyed visiting Rhuddlan Castle and seeing all the family in this video. It was fun to make.
They're in a good mood today.
They are. Explain yourself.
Alright, I can talk if you like.
A little early, sorry. Now. Now when you're ready. Wait, oh, okay.
Closer to the sea for access, for,
Well, when I was 29 years old and clambering over the Rocky Mountains with you in a backpack, I would never have thought I would be doing this at age 75.
Yeah.
So tell me, are we going to climb anything that's more challenging than this?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I guess we don't have to worry.